Which ones?
Well, I mean, they're all going to be roughly the same.
No. I think the more current ones are higher. At one time, I think it was estimated 30 or so overall. I'd have to split out the county though, because everybody has to take their piece of it. And on the other ones, we're getting most of it on the TIF.
All right, we've got 9 o'clock. Consider for approval the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it. I just didn't know if we were going to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Should we say the Pledge of Allegiance?
I guess it's not law.
Not anymore.
We've got a motion on the floor. We better do that.
Better do
first.
that.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. We have a motion by Derby and seconded by Jensvold to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
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 You want to do it now?
Yeah, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for the reminder. Discussion with possible action 28E or other action regarding General Assistance Director position.
I'm just waiting for direction from you guys as to what you want to do. So I haven't finished a 2080 because I don't know what to put in the 2080.
Right.
So
what are our options to put in
I
it?
suppose first option was going back to that IKO one and finishing that one. Second option, I guess that's come up, is that it's only a partial conflict of interest to have our advocate.
the statute didn't read like it was a conflict to me, but
It's only if it's one of her clients.
oh, sure, that makes sense. Yep.
But you said that you can do those through your office or something?
Yeah, she said basically that she said it won't happen. Normally it doesn't happen, but if it would happen, like we could.
So it's rare though. At
Yeah.
least. Yeah, because regardless, you're still doing the 2080 with NICO for a few things, right? Or how would that work? Because are we talking just the General Assistance Director? That was the one where, are we going to keep it with Ruth or, right? Or
Yeah.
have I may have missed something here. I'm sorry.
General Assistance would either go with
IKO.
NICO.
I say it wrong every time.
Yeah, no, there's too many acronyms in the world.
North Iowa Community Action
Yeah.
Organization.
And or in which Sandy used to do it, and I guess she's been temporarily doing it. So I mean, we just have to decide. Now, are we going to contract with her to do it?
Well, like she was saying, are you splitting it out to where
Well,
Weren't there several duties
there's
that we were
budgeted
going?
items that we have to pay for, and there's other things they already do?
yeah.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
There are things that we did that were above and beyond what is required.
So a simple 28E with them would be to just go with the things we wouldn't have to pay over and above
Yes.
that they already provide.
That's what I was thinking.
But do we have to go through that laundry list of what those things are and figure that out?
Oh, sure.
I think
So-
we had most
It was-
of that
yeah.
figured out. It was
Yes.
just then this issue of General Assistance Director came up that because by statute we have to have somebody designated as the General Assistance Director. And that's the thing that NICAO was requesting the extra or the $5,000 a year or whatever
So
it was.
the General Assistance Director allocates the funds for like funeral expenses and there was a few things.
There
that
were a
just
few
over and
things
above.
specifically. They basically oversee the county's general relief program, but
There's also things like we have juvenile funds that position takes care of.
yeah,
There's-
like the claims and things like
There's
that, right?
Substance abuse funds they would do the claims for. Those kind of things that I don't know who would do that stuff if, I suppose it would fall back on my office, or I don't know who would
Well,
do,
isn't that what?
or if that would go to NICAO, if they would do that, if that general position went there.
Mm-hmm. Did Cindy not call in then? Or is she?
Cindy? She must not have.
Okay. That would be a
She's-
good question for her.
She said she was going to, but she must not have.
Yeah, for her.
I just assumed she was maybe going to be here because we had a special meeting. This was the only day she could or whatever.
Yeah, I thought she had said she was going to, so I don't.
Well, let's try to identify some of the things that are questionable, whether if we split it up, who would do what, and is there other things that they had, that ICAO had identified that they'd have to get paid extra for?
I don't think so. Because let me look back.
So I've got the funeral expenses, the juvenile funds, and the substance abuse. They're all over and above what they normally do.
I thought the funeral was
No,
included.
that's all part of the
I mean,
general
obviously
job
we have to
description.
allocate the funds, but they would. I thought they would oversee that.
There's
I wish she was on the phone. Do you have a number for her to try calling to see?
Right. Roughly. I don't know. I have to look up an email.
I might have it in my email too. I've got her office phone number here if you want to try that. 641 423.
It'd be nice to have a list of what
Pay what?
they will do. What?
Yeah, I didn't bring my contract. It was printed
you
off.
know what we should have done? We should just had Sandy come here. She could explain it all to us.
If you know your party's 3-digit extension, you can dial it now. For the fiscal
Well, I
So
thought we
does-
had it, but it's been a couple months ago now. I thought we had pretty much outlined what they would do without any additional funding,
Yeah.
and then we realized
Iowa Community Action.
we have to have somebody designated as general assistance director, and there are just a couple duties that really fall under that.
Okay.
And that was the issue of, do we keep it with Ruth, or do we pay them?
Yeah. They already do everything that the general assistants, except for there was just a couple of extras. That
There
we
were
did.
just
But do they do everything that Ruth does right now? Or can they do?
That she does as general assistance director, or that she,
That she does as?
No,
no,
Not
she's-
advocate.
Hi Cindy,
No
this is
advocate.
Carla Weiss.
No, the advocate's completely
I'm
different.
here with the
I thought
supervisors,
so, but I just.
and we just have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
So, Cindy, this is Terry. In the contracts we were looking at, there were certain things that you were indicating that we would have to pay over and above for those services, correct?
I don't have it in front of me, but I believe so, yes.
Okay, do you remember what those things were?
It was to actually provide the services with our staff because it's out of the realm of what we do within community action, and so it's paying for that service.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out. We were looking at anything that was over and above what you normally do. We were looking at maybe just splitting out and let somebody else do that while you do what you normally do. Does that make sense?
Well, then I don't need to be named anything in what you're requesting then, Terry.
Okay.
so I'm just looking back at
Because
emails.
we're doing our job what we normally do, and so then we don't need to participate. I've asked several times for supervisors to contact me so we could have a conversation, not being going through this open project, open time here, and nobody has reached out to have a conversation with me so we could discuss all of this. So I would appreciate it if you'd like to continue moving forward. I'm happy to have conversations with the supervisors. I'm happy to come up there so we can have a dialogue about it and I can explain things.
So you want to talk to them individually because you can't talk to them together about anything without being in an open meeting.
Correct. meet with all of them. I can just meet with one of them and explain everything. That's absolutely fine. But, you know, I've sent an email numerous times asking for them to reach out to me to have a conversation, and nobody's contacted me to have a conversation about this.
So we can't, you're saying you won't explain it in an open meeting?
I said I don't have any of the documents sitting in front of me. I was not expecting to be participating in the open meeting today. And so at this moment in time, I don't have anything in front of me to go detail step by step. That is what I am saying, yes.
All right, well, we'll probably get in contact you and try to figure this out, so.
Sounds great, Terry. I appreciate it. I look forward to hearing from you.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I contacted her and told that I apologize.
Well, and we've had conversations with her in the past already.
I guess I just don't understand why that conversation can't occur.
Well, she doesn't have the info.
Well, I understand that, but she's saying that she wants to meet with one person individually. So
At first, yeah, and then she kind of changed a little bit.
Well, I am looking back at emails that I had with Cindy before we started talking about the General Assistance Director specifically. So it says, NICAO provides the following service to individuals in need who meet the income guidelines and requirement of the funding source, to include but not limited to housing, rental assistance, energy assistance, water assistance, transportation. Winnebago County will provide funding to be available for individuals who are at the 100% poverty level. Funding is available for prescriptions, funeral services. So my understanding is without any additional charge, they were willing to also do the prescriptions and funeral services, except that we need to allocate the funding for that.
Okay.
Those were the things that they already handle, that they can handle without additional compensation. That's my recollection going back through these emails. And then I know we had a discussion about, like, I think maybe Ruth had brought up, like, people will randomly stop by and ask, like, oh, I need this fax to DHS, or I need help filling out whatever. And we had inquired with Cindy as to what their involvement would be as far as that goes. And she said when working with individuals who are requesting assistance, we make referrals. We empower individuals to become self-sufficient. However, it will not be NICAO's job to answer questions for services they get from other agencies. If it is a service we provide, they will receive assistance from us. So, then we started talking about the General Assistance Director specifically, which includes like the payment of the juvenile and substance abuse claims, and then just as the formal overseer of the General Assistance Program for the county, and that's where that additional $5,000 would come into play.
So would that position then oversee what NICAO is doing for us too?
The General Assistance Director
like what
position?
they do for funeral assistance and RX and
that would make sense that they would work with
that.
to figure out like the allocation for funding for the funeral services.
Somebody's got to make the budget.
Right. That would make sense to me. I'm just shooting from the hip, but that makes sense to me.
It makes sense for me to have possibly somebody else doing, the juvenile, in charge of the juvenile funds and substance abuse and overseeing the budget that we're giving to NICAO to allocate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we'd have to have our General Assistance Director actually doing the juvenile funds, just overseeing it,
right,
budget-wise.
Well, yeah, that's something NICAO is willing to do without compensation if it's a service they're willing to provide, as long as we provide the funding. That's my understanding.
I just think if we can do those services in-house though and not have to give them those funds, let's just
keep it with the
keep
director.
it in-house.
Is Ruth handling that stuff right now?
Yeah.
So
Obviously, one of the benefits of keeping the General Assistance Director here would also be that issue of people just showing up and wanting help with, can you fax this to DHS? Can you help me? I can't get my EBT card to work. you know, those services that I think you guys were kind of worried about that have been provided that we kind of want to keep providing. I don't know that NICAO is going to do that, even if they're the general assistance director. There's no right or wrong direction to go, though, from a legal standpoint. I mean, either one is fine.
What's the
And
total?
frankly, the rate is the same, right? Because right now we're paying Ruth $5,000 to do those duties. That's what NICAO is asking, is $5,000 for those same duties.
And that's a year?
Yes.
I was just going to ask with NICAO, because I thought the total per year was 5,000, and this
Yeah.
year's.
And that was
But
just
I thought
for
this was
general
another
assistance
5,000 on
director.
top of this that they were talking. But all right, so
That's not my understanding. I think all those other things that I listed off are what are services they already provide. So that's why they're willing to do, basically make referrals and do the applications for those services. That's my understanding.
So under
We would want to obviously confirm that with them.
under her possible Ruth's position, she would also do the hand holding of filling out forms and things like that.
I think so. Yeah, if that's what she's been doing.
And be a presence,
Right.
you know, a door to knock on.
Yeah.
I guess I like that idea too.
So what is Ruth's salary for the advocate?
I don't know that off the top of my head. That's completely separate from this discussion.
Yes and no.
I mean, it's related. We can discuss it since we're talking about the general assistance director position.
Wasn't it 50 something,
Trying
or was that with the
54?
5,000?
Yeah, did that include the 5 though?
It was a part, the general, or the advocate position was a part-time position when it was doing 3 counties. Now she's only doing 1 county, and we're paying her a full-time wage and benefits for a part-time job.
So that is not on the agenda because it's not directly related to the general assistance director. So you'd have to put that on the agenda if you want to discuss that part. I see where you're going, but
She's getting paid by other counties to do advocate on top of this, so, I mean, it's part of the discussion to go with NICAO was just if we could get things done cheaper without having to pay a full salary and benefits. We could save, the county could save money.
So what do you want to do?
No, I'm fine with
So, but you're suggesting that the $5,000 additional to be the general assistant person here is maybe already covered in her wages.
Well, in a sense it
Other
is, but
wages.
we need to pay her $5,000 for the general relief, and then we need to adjust the other salary, the advocate salary.
and that's the part that's
And
not
that's
on
not
the
on the
agenda.
agenda,
Yeah.
So then that's easy.
But we were
then.
waiting.
That's easy for this agenda because the 5, we need to use the 5 there then,
Let's go
if
in.
that's what we think.
And the reason we've left her at her salary so far is because we had not solidified this general relief thing.
So do this first and then we can figure it
Yeah.
out.
And this would be would we have a contract with her for this then?
I don't know that you'd have to have a contract per se. Did Sandy ever have a contract? An actual employment contract? I doubt it. We don't usually do contracts, so. As long as there are guidelines, and I think there already are some guidelines for the general
Policies.
assistance director and whatnot of what their duties are. We may want to take a look at that and make sure it's up to date and everything that
Probably
you.
going to have to change some stuff.
Right.
So would there be overlap? Would she also help them with the housing and water funding?
I think that's up to you guys as to what you want to make the parameters of the position.
Or just refer to NICAO for those?
Whichever
Simplify
way.
her job.
Yeah, I think you can do that.
Well, IKO already handles that stuff, so.
Right.
Right.
To her, it should just be something not added onto her plate, that she should just make the referral to where the services are.
So, is there action we want to take today then? To make her the general relief assistant? Or, what do you call it, general relief assistant?
I think it's just general assistance director.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. That's what it says on here too.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. That's probably where I got that, so I might have made that up. Yeah, you could take action today on that if you wanted to solidify that she's going to remain because she is the interim general assistance director right now, so she would just remain. And then we just need to figure out details as to what her position is going to look like, and are we, like you said, are we referring to NICAO, or what are we doing
Do we
with
even need a
NICAO?
28E with NICAO if they're just doing it already?
I don't think so.
No.
No, not if they're not doing anything above and beyond what their
What they
current
normally
services
do,
are.
yeah.
The only thing would maybe be the prescription funeral costs, but if we're going to keep that
Through her.
through the general assistance director, then we wouldn't need to.
Mhm.
So I don't think so. I can look, but I don't see any reason if we're just making referrals to them through our general
But
assistance program.
we would let NICAO know that we will be making referrals
Right.
for the other things
Sure.
that they already do.
Yeah.
Which has probably been going on for a long time, I guess. I'll have to have a conversation with Sandy and have her fill me in on it all again.
Sure.
My guess is Sandy was always helping them with it on those items, but then referring.
She's still doing referrals. People contacting her all the time.
Well, it'd be nice if we had someone that was following up on it too, after the referral to make sure it's
Sure.
working and that they didn't get
Lost.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe Kasuth County is now going to approach Ruth about being their advocate too. So.
I was thinking Melissa had told me that she was doing
Hancock already.
Yeah. And what is she doing?
Don't think
Worth?
she may be doing Worth too. I know they were considering it, but I haven't heard that they actually had the action to do it.
When this all gets shook out, then we look at what we gotta do on
Yeah,
that.
and I'll contact the three counties and see what it is there.
So going back to our agenda item, are we willing to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to make Ruth Melby our general assistance director
I'll second
for
that.
$5,000 a year.
We have a motion to make Ruth Melby the General Assistance Director by Jenswold and seconded by Derby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So then I think, like I said, there's a document somewhere that kind of lays out what the general assistance director position does. Do you have that? Maybe Ruth sent it to me once. I'll look.
I got a copy of it at home.
Okay.
It was
I think-
handed out before Sandy got done.
Sure.
In the
Yeah.
whole,
So if you guys want to look at that and make sure if there are any changes you want to see as far as what's to be included or if anything's to be eliminated,
We need to put that
I
on
think
the agenda so that we can
discuss it.
discuss
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I would do that, and then, because that's all you really need to do then is to figure out the parameters of that. If there are going to be any changes, maybe there won't be, but.
Can we do that during a regular
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tuesday meeting? We don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can do that without the need of your assistance. Ask
yeah, and then if
you
you need
with
anything,
those
just let me know.
markups and
Yep. Because I think it's just like a laundry list kind of, so it should be fairly easy to go through and say,
yeah.
we need this or we don't need this. Like I said, there may not be any
Oh, we
changes.
can just
that's
tag
all.
it NICAO or
Yeah,
review.
right,
As it,
right.
Yeah, as long as we know that they're all being
Covered.
covered.
Mhm. And as long as Ruth knows, okay, I'm supposed to refer on XYZ, but I'm handling prescription, funeral, or whatever it might be.
So will we have like some new signage on the doors, and how will people know this.
Like
the same,
for the referrals?
Yeah.
the same positions or the same things are being done down in an office now that they were before. So I don't think they need to change.
I don't think so, because Ruth
Okay.
would just be
Yeah.
the one, I think, to say, okay, you need to go through NICAO for this application for
Yeah.
whatever assistance.
Okay.
That would make sense to me.
I think for assisting the clients, I think this is going to be the best
Mhm.
for them.
To have a person in office and can help with a few more things than NICAO probably can. Some of the things that seem small maybe to us are big to other people, to have that help with even just getting documents to a certain place.
All right.
All right. Anything else? All right, then we stand adjourned. We'll get on the agenda for another, once we have some.
I just assumed that Cindy was going to be here, is why we had a special. We were accommodating her schedule, I thought. Anyway,
Well, you were accommodating mine too, because I wasn't available on Tuesday.
maybe it might have been next Tuesday.
No, I'm not available a couple Tuesdays. I
All
don't
right,
think.
so that would feel better. We're
Yeah.
accommodating your schedule.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about our most current battle with zoning? So,
It's the one that Matt sent,
Oh,
CC'd us in
yeah.
a
I
letter.
drove by it yesterday. This is a very small acreage.
It is not zoned for this. Cruise.
It's a cruise.
Oh. I may have a conflict on working on that at the moment.
All right.
I